maintenance over here? Could we have maintenance, please? Lights, camera. Hello and welcome back to Esports Vikings Weekly. We're here with another weekly episode of our Esports Vikings Weekly.
That's why it's named that, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Your name is Janne.
Hello, again.
My name is Teemu, Mr. Host on the green throne.
Alright, enough of that. We have a lot of esports to go through, so I'm pretty excited for this week, actually.
Yeah. 3 games, 5 events in total?
Oh, I didn't count, but it's a lot, so it's very exciting right now.
Let's travel back to the weekend and start with Dream League Season 12 in Rotterdam.
Yep, I think interesting tournament. I mean, it's the first real tournament we have after TI, and we have a lot of changes. I was really excited for the Alliance changes and Team Liquid, all that stuff there, so... even though the tournament only had 6 teams, I think it turned out to be a pretty exciting one.
It was actually an entertaining one.
Yeah.
To put it out there, Alliance won their group.
Yes.
Well, they won the tournament.
Yeah, I went a little bit beforehand, but I was happy for them, so...
Okay, so Alliance started in the group stage with basically a 4-0 win.
Yeah.
They won J-Storm and Fly to the Moon without any real struggle, to be honest.
It looked pretty easy.
And then in the upper bracket final, they won their kind of Swedish rival NIP 2-0 again.
Well, depends on how Swedish you can call them nowadays, but...
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just to mention, NIP actually had a pretty strong group stage. They went 4-0, well 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they lost to Alliance in the upper bracket final, they went to the lower bracket final and they lost again to
Demon Slayers, right?
Demon Slayers.
I mean, that's obviously surprising if you look at beforehand the tournament or whatever, but Demon Slayers looked really good from nowhere. Like, honestly, I didn't even know who they were. So, I mean, they managed to beat Liquid, then NIP, and, again, I'm going things a little bit earlier, whatever, but in the final, they really put it up against Alliance as well. So...
They were leading 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Demon Slayers.
Pretty crazy. I mean, it's not often you see somebody turn around at 0-2 in a final and reverse sweep it basically and win 3-2. That's not happening very often, and pretty impressive stuff actually from Alliance and Demon Slayers too.
Obviously.
Yeah. For sure.
Good to mention is that Team Liquid went 2-2 in the group stage or 1-1, and then they lost to Demon Slayers.
Yeah, again, I mean, obviously it's disappointing for, the ex-Alliance team.
Yeah.
They should do better than that, but then again, this Demon Slayer team surprised everybody, so I don't know. I don't want to take too much out of it, but it's still disappointing, obviously, for the new Team Liquid squad. Yeah,
definitely. Another mention is that Nico Baby was an absolute god once again.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, like we said before in TI9, he looked amazingly good out of nowhere, pretty much for me anyway, and, he looks like a superstar, honestly. And this team also has the potential, I think, to be great. Like I said before already, I really believe in this team. So.
Yeah, we were talking about the Fate stack at the time.
Yeah.
And we kind of agreed that there's a lot of potential. And
it's skilled players, and Nico, for an example, is somebody who's definitely showing up every single time right now. So
that's great. And then there's the prison Artesia thing out of Nico Baby. It's a pretty funny looking picture.
I had a good laugh at it, so it is what it is. But then again, we should probably move on from this tournament. And we have ESL One Hamburg coming up right now, and all of these teams, NIP, Team Liquid, and Alliance, will play there too. So that's pretty interesting because the teams are way stronger in that tournament. Of course, you have like Virtus Pro, you have VG Gaming. Now, on top of my head, there's more. But
I'll just go through the teams. Okay, Virtus Pro, TNC Predator, VG Gaming, NIP, Team Liquid, Beast Coast, which is ex-Infamous, Quincy Crew without Sumail, of course, Gambit, Viking GG, Fighting Pandas, Wind and Drain, and Alliance. Yeah. And to mention, Wind and Drain and Alliance got their spots in the tournament, because of issues with visas for the teams that actually qualified.
Yeah, it was the China qualifier and Southeast Asia qualifier. They couldn't attend. So, but anyway, like I said, this tournament is obviously, well, it's a bigger tournament just in terms of more teams and more games and so on. But it's also the quality of the teams. Just it's higher, you know. So I think this is a good test, especially for Alliance, because they are looking really good, and now they won Dream League, obviously. So it's a little bit like show up now as well, and they are, you know, a top team. You know, if they manage to win this or go far, at least I would think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think we actually spoke about this issue beforehand. The top teams are skipping tournaments, so now they play Dream League without any real top teams.
Sure.
Even this tournament is...
Well, it's still lacking. Obviously, there's a lot of Chinese teams that are good. We have Evil Geniuses, what else? Steam Secret or skipping some tournaments. Like, there's a lot. And the Kuroki team, whatever they will be called. And I mean, of course, it's not a top-tier tournament, but I think it's a good opportunity for these teams to show up and actually get some experience and whatever.
And I mean, like TNC Predator, Vici Gaming, they're both really good.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So this is kind of like a stepping stone for the newer teams that are not so well known. And obviously
just the new lineups in general. Like Virtus Pro is another one. It's a new lineup, and we'll see what they can do. But they have a good, solid foundation, and now they took in 2 younger players who are up and coming, and who knows? It might work out really well. So,
but it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But I definitely see this as a big opportunity for the Alliance to do their thing and actually take their spot. And
I think so. And this is the first test for many of the new lineups. So it's just the beginning of the whole season. So we'll see what happens.
The only thing, like, to mention, the last thing about this ESL One Hamburg is what I'm really looking forward is that I hope Liquid and Alliance meet in the playoffs.
That would be fun.
That would be amazing, because then it's the ex-Alliance versus the new guys. So there's kind of...
It's also a little bit confusing who's who, you know? But sure.
But I think there's a chance for a great matchup.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of these, you know, somewhat smaller tournaments, maybe we should move on to the big thing right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to switch my papers here so I can stay on track. There's this tiny little thing going on called the League of Legends Worlds 2019.
Yep.
And the group stage has been played now.
Well, your favorites, Hong Kong Attitude, didn't do as well as you predicted, but I mean, clearly bad luck or something.
Yeah, unlucky.
But no, honestly, I mean, last week we talked about this, and I've been watching at least some of it, and that's more than I've done any other year, and I think it's pretty interesting. And I think the group stages were, you know, again, it was kind of the same thing as the play-ins, where there could have been these upsets, and it was close every, like, here and there, but at the end of the day, the top-tier teams pulled through pretty much everywhere. There was a few close ones, but like RNG went out, for an example, and Fnatic moved on. That was pretty big. That's one of them. And, well, NA teams, done.
I'll go through the groups one by one and the scores, and then let's see about the quarterfinals. So, Group A, Griffin went 6-1, G2 5-2, Cloud9 2-4, and Hong Kong Attitude 0-6. That obviously has to be a mistake, because in my eyes they went 6-0. Group B, Fun Plus Phoenix 5-2, Splice 4-3, J Team 3-3, and GAM 1-5. In Group C, we got SK Telecom, which is probably the best team in the world.
Well, it's fair to say right now they are the massive favorite to win the whole tournament at this point. So
Telecom went 5-1, Fnatic 4-2, RNG 3-3, Clutch Gaming 0-6. Yeah. And then in Group D, Dam1 Gaming 5-1, Invictus Gaming 4-2, Team Liquid 3-3, and AQ Esports Club 0-6.
Well, I think most of this is pretty expected. For an example, in Group A, you have Griffin winning over G2. That's an upset, but it's still, everybody knew Griffin is a good team. Yeah. And they were also expected to go through to the playoffs. So
even after their internal issues with the coaches and stuff.
Yeah. So I think all of this went pretty much as expected. Some things changed here and there, but nothing big.
The only thing that comes up to me is kind of funny that Dam1 Gaming actually got in through the play-ins.
Yeah.
But then again, they are from Korea and they are one of the biggest teams, but because of the kind of setup,
the competition is just so hard in Korea. I mean, it was the first time ever they actually had a team in the play-ins, so obviously they were a huge favorite there. Then, but probably for both of us, it would feel like, oh well, they're not a strong team then if they're in the play-ins, but that's clearly not true.
Yeah.
And they're also doing amazingly here. They are also, I mean, they are still one of the teams who could surprise in the playoffs and go really far. Like there is some, clear favorites, but Damwon has the potential to go far for sure.
And then moving on to the quarterfinals, on their play. Okay, couple things. All the series are best of 5.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
That's awesome.
And they're played one at a time, which is for entertainment purpose. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. That's something I really, really like with League of Legends.
So on Saturday, the first quarterfinal is Griffin versus Invictus Gaming, and then later today is Fun plus Phoenix versus Fnatic, and that's 26th Saturday, so this week.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday we got SK Telecom versus Splice, and then Damwon versus G2.
Yeah, well, just to give my input here is there's only one game that's pretty clear beforehand. It's the SK Telecom one. Splice really shouldn't have a chance there. I even saw today SK Telecom, their odds to win that game is 1.006, by the way. So let's be clear, that's a game they should win every day of the week. The other ones are pretty close though. I think Griffin, Invictus Gaming, since that's the first one, it's really interesting. Griffin is a super skilled team as far as I got it, but Invictus Gaming is still the reigning champion. So they struggled a little bit, but this matchup is pretty cool, I think. And also, same goes for Fun plus Phoenix Fnatic, because Fun plus Phoenix were, they were really hyped up before the tournament, but they struggled some, and Fnatic has been looking pretty solid. So, I don't know, interesting matchup once again. And Damwon G2 as the last quarterfinal, that's pretty fire actually.
Yeah.
G2 is like one of the main favorites to win the tournament, but Damwon's been looking great. So
there's some really good League of Legends this weekend. Make sure you watch that. Moving on, we're gonna switch game at this point.
Yep.
And we're gonna travel to Turkey, Belek to be exact, for the Starseries I-League CSGO Season 8 offline LAN tournament.
Mm-hmm.
$500,000 prize pool. The classic group stage, double elimination with 8 teams per group. I'm just going to go through the groups now and then we'll talk a bit more.
Sure.
So Group A is Fnatic, Imperial Esports, Renegades, MIPR, Vitality, Invictus Gaming, Mousesports, and North. Group B has Evil Geniuses, 5-Power Gaming, which is a Chinese team that got through qualifiers. NIP, Furia, Avangard, Heroic, Navi, and G2. Just quickly what we're going to do here, let's go through each group at a time. Who do you think are going to go forward and blah, 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 and then so on?
Well, I think Group A is pretty simple on paper. I mean, Fnatic, Vitality, Mousesports, I would say, are the strongest team in that group. But then there's like MIBR, North, even Renegades, I mean, are pretty solid teams.
Yeah.
So, but I think after DreamHack Masters Malmö, Fnatic looked really good, and hopefully they can keep it up. I'm a little bit skeptical still, but we'll see. Obviously, then we have Invictus Gaming and Imperial, for an example, are teams who shouldn't make it here. Even today, I saw Vitality win against Invictus Gaming, 16-3, 16-3.
Yeah.
So that probably says a lot about how that would play out.
Yeah. Well, Fnatic is playing against Imperial, so Imperial is basically out. Renegades is playing against MIBR, so from Group A, I think that's the best matchup.
Yeah, it's the closest one for sure.
Mousesports and North could be a thing, but you'd think that Mousesports wins it.
Yes, but I actually just saw right before we went down that North won the first map, so
really?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't check that.
But I think it's 1-1. Anyway, I think it's pretty clear for me. The favorites there, the good teams, are Fnatic and Vitality right now in form,
Yeah.
So
Okay, so Group B, we have EG versus 5-Power. So EG, they have to
that's
win
what we said with Greyhound, but yeah.
They have to win it.
Yes, they have to win it. There's no discussion.
NIP and Furia.
NIP looks good, I think, with Twist. I actually believe they will keep on improving as well. So I like
think
the
so
new
too.
NIP.
They've been really good after I tried.
Like, surprisingly good almost. I thought it was a good change for sure, but they impressed.
Avantgarde versus Heroic.
That's a close one, I would think. I mean, on paper, Avangard probably should be a favorite, but I think Heroic's one of those teams who always show up and do pretty well.
Not always.
Not always, but I mean,
when they show up,
solid.
they do well.
No, but they're still solid. I don't know. I honestly, Avangard, then, to say something.
Okay, G2 Navi.
Well, Navi should have it. I mean, I like the new
If
Navi
Navi
too.
loses this, I don't even know.
But it's G2, you know, now I'm being really nice to everybody again, but G2 has been looking pretty good, you know, since they made some changes. But I think Navi as well, they really look good with Guardian. So I think in the long run, this team could do very, very well.
Okay, 2 questions.
Yep.
Your dream grand final out of this tournament?
Good question. Okay, Fnatic NIP, let's go.
Okay, what is the final you expect to see?
EG Vitality.
Fair enough.
Let's go with it. I really think there's some teams who can... I don't really trust EG yet. Same Vitalities, a little bit up and down, but at the end of the day, they are still the 2 most solid teams here. For sure, other teams like Fnatic, if they play like they did in Dream or in Malmö, who knows? But on paper, that's the most likely final, sure.
All right. Then the last topic of the day is Starcraft II with the WCS Global Finals.
Yep.
Starting on 24th of October, and the tournament is running until 1st of November. We have $700,000 in the prize pool.
It's pretty big for Starcraft, honestly.
It's
It
massive.
must be... I'm not sure at all about this, but it must be one of the bigger ones they ever had. Or maybe the biggest. So.
But StarCraft is picking up some more hype lately, which is obviously amazing.
I mean, I think it's really fun. Obviously, for myself, it's mostly because we have Serral getting in there in the mix with the Koreans. But, I mean, for sure, I think it's interesting. And I'm probably for the first time really, really looking forward to a StarCraft tournament. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So what happened is they have 8 teams from Korea. I mean, 8 players from Korea and 8 players from the WCS seeds. Yep. So the Koreans are Dark, Trap, Classic, Maru, Su, Rogue, Hero, and Stats. And the non-Koreans are, of course, Serral, Raynor, Neeb, Special, Time, Hero Manin, Laser, and Showtime. They are played in 4 groups of 4 players. It's 2 players from VCS Korea and 2 players from VCS Circuit. Players are seeded by their circuit points, and it's a dual tournament format where every single match is a best of 5.
Yes, I think that's really cool because before it's been best of 3s, and having all of the games being best of 5 is amazing. I think that's really, really good. And just to mention, I think it's really fun how we have Serral. He's double the money to win, and that's pretty crazy considering that everybody else is like, closest is something like 7 times the money to win. So Serral has been doing great. He won VCS Spring and VCS Fall, which is pretty insane. So he comes in as a massive favorite. But from what I can see, StarCraft is still, the games are really close. And even
so dynamic.
Yes. So I don't know. Of course, I'm going to cheer for my boy Serral, but this is going to be tough. But it's still awesome to see somebody else than a Korean come in as a massive favorite for the global finals.
So to summarize this, we've got Dota, we have League of Legends, we have Counter-Strike and StarCraft, and all of those are starting this week or actually ongoing.
It's seriously a very, very busy week. I can't even remember when we had a week like this in esports,
No, I can't either. But I think that's enough gibberish for today.
Yeah. I agree, but I want to go watch the games, to be honest. So,
So like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and like the video and maybe another video and watch another video too. We're going to return in a week with a fresh topic on our mind. So see you then. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.